which means like, when they're saying, this apple, you're not supposed to have this apple.
Yeah.
It's because they're keeping away all that from us. That all this stuff that we should innately know, and it should, it's in our DNA. They're blocking it. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Whether it be probably telepathy or just a connection to the whatever the creator is. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think they're blocking it with words and. Do you know what I mean? We're
Yeah.
finding
Yeah.
this out now.
I think like the creator, whatever that is definitely not the same as what we're shown in terms of religious books and all that. It's a
No.
different one, especially when they're saying like that's just like code for the knowledge, like the apple eaters and all this kind of stuff. It's just code words for like knowledge and stuff, which they
It's just,
have. They are the apple eaters, the original ones. Like even in the Bible it talks about like the mark of Cain and all that. It's all the same kind of code, pretty much. But
yeah,
the
it's
apple
all just
eaters,
the people's feeling that we're inadequate and we're
yeah,
not on the level of them, obviously. And it's just like, well, you can see it now, can't you? I can see it. What it's just total programming, isn't it? That's
yeah,
what,
yeah, exactly, yeah,
and it's totally against anything that's of goodness. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, or godness. You know what I mean? That's where you get the word good from, good and bad and all that. Maxwell talks about this stuff, but it is true. Like I mean, I do have my doubts about George Maxwell, but he does reveal a lot of stuff. So you're kind of like, whoa, I didn't see that one. But yeah, he's on the ball like with a lot of what he says. Like I don't actually trust most people anymore. Like I've had like second awakening where I'm like, whoa, with David Icke and all this. Well, how is he not like being taken out? So he's given a platform. So I think like we can work around what David Icke says or Jordan Maxwell, but we've got to come to our own conclusions and like see what they're saying and then match it up. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, I think so, and I think that we should still thank them for it because, like,
yeah, yeah, definitely.
definitely,
Yeah.
and that's what it's all about. Just listening to all those. I mean, I loved listening to Sarian, and do you know what I mean? Now Bill Donahue, I love listening to his work, and
Oh yeah, Crazy Bill, yeah, in the
oh
church and
God, I
that,
think his
yeah.
work's amazing.
He's fantastic. He's got a really good approach to it as well.
He has,
Like
yeah,
he's
it's
just doing
brilliant.
it really well. He's not like trying to scare you or anything. He's like really buzzing about it, you know. It's like yeah, this is that, you know. For he's got a good
He
way
can
of
just
approaching
relate
it.
it. Yeah, the way he relates, just like the universe and to every book, every book, the Torah,
Yeah,
the
yeah. It's the
Bible.
same story on repeat. There's nothing new
Exactly,
under
the
the sun.
fractals.
Nothing new under the sun ever. It's the same story on repeat.
It is. It
Uh,
totally is. Yeah, and even if we watch like recent history now, because I watched that the greatest story never told the other day. I don't know if you've watched that yet, but it's bloody brilliant.
yeah,
It's 7 hours of documentary about Hitler. And it's like approaching it from a totally different side to what we've ever seen it. Do you know?
yeah.
Have you heard
Well,
about
there's
it?
all the occultism. I'm more fascinated with the occultism behind Hitler and his black sun and all this and all of that kind of spooky magic stuff he was doing. But again, it's just black magic over the masses. And if you think about how he controlled the entirety of not only Germany but Poland and everything else, and how he could get like the masses riled up. And again, it's just a fictional creation. It's
Oh,
always the
that's why
same
you've got
thing.
to watch this actual film. You know what I mean? This documentary, because it totally gives you a totally different slant on the story altogether. You
Yeah,
know, and you know how everything that I feel like this now. Everything that we have been fed to us and are still being fed to us. I think really look at what the opposite would be. I
yeah,
seriously do, because I don't know if there's anything that I feel that we've fed that is true. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. It's always got an agenda behind it. Yeah, for real.
Everything. Like, some wouldn't even
Yeah.
bother telling us, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's always a motive behind the madness, so to speak. But it's fascinating how they could rile up like all them Germans to fight in a bogus war, and it's an example of how they can rile up people, and they're doing it in this country
Oh
like
my God!
every day.
If you'd have watched this Vice thing that I watched tonight, and see how they're doing it in Syria at the moment, and I should imagine it's absolutely, like the same format as what the Christians did to people when they were going around fucking raping and pillaging and, you know what I mean, forcing their religion onto people.
Yeah.
It's no different to that. But I watched it and I was like, God, it was like a scene out of 1984. You know, they saw these prisoners, they've totally changed their lives on the street, you know what I mean? They're telling them what to wear, what to eat, what to, you know, a husband and wife was walking down holding hands and they were like, you know, the police are there going like, no, she's your wife, people know she's your wife, don't be touching her in public, sort of thing, and get a stronger veil on your face, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and then going around, oh, it was just horrendous, just like 1984, seriously, you've got to watch it.
Well, the thing is, religion, it's like a tree that grows in your brain, and it turns into a massive tree, and then once it's there, it's got the leaves, and you can't go away from it. It's programming, and it's very
It's
dangerous. Yeah, totally. And they've been doing this shit for years, and it's no different
well,
now.
where does
Yeah.
this go back to? It all goes back to Rome again, doesn't it? Because I mean, there's a lot of, you know, proof out there that the Vatican created Islam.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Well, I mean,
that's true.
it's all dog shit anyway. I mean,
Exactly.
they walk around that friggin' cube, which is like Saturn, and this is where you get Satan claws and all that stuff, and you know what I mean? They're actually worshipping a planet, which is Saturn, and that's why you've got Saturn Day, and they worship it on the Saturn Day and all that. I mean, it's the same story on repeat, but they're actually not worshipping the creator or whatever God is. I don't know. I can't justify what it is, but I know that it's not fucking Saturn. And that's for real, that's definite. But they have to face the cube in Mecca and all that and do all this stuff. And it's just a joke, really. It's the same with all of them. And it goes back to like what Bill Hicks said. Did you think if Jesus come back, he'd want to see a cross? The whole thing is just totally like morbid, you know what I mean? All religion is morbid shit.
When you think
Yeah.
of the rituals when the Catholics put the people through, do you know what I mean? Like eating the blood and drinking. I mean.
Oh yeah, eating the flesh. The flesh. You gotta eat his flesh.
And girls getting in the confirmation. Oh God, it makes me feel sick.
Well, that flesh thing, it's sort of cannibalism in a way as well. You gotta eat Jesus.
It's sick.
Eat him. Yeah. It's revolting. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And even the way that the churches are shaped and all that, and then when you go in, if you look at the door on the top of when you walk through the door, it's like a vagina thing. Have you noticed that on the door?
Oh yeah, the Sheila the Gigs. I've painted that. I like, yeah.
It's just like a sexual act. It's like a sex, going back to that, because they all worship these elite weirdos. They all worship sex and death and that. So it's like, even in your place of apparently worshipping the creator, but it's not actually worshipping the creator. It's all their trick. It's all their kind of scam,
Well, we had one of these big moments when me and Kev was down here and we were chatting away, and God knows what hour of morning it was. And then we were sort of saying, talking about in the beginning was the Word, right?
Yeah.
And then it was like, yeah, and the Word is God. And you'll think about all the ancient tribes, they never used to write things down. They used to actually, I forgot to say something. And then it says somewhere in the Bible, you shouldn't make graven images. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I was thinking like the old tribes didn't write things down, did they? It was all through word of mouth, And then, maybe.
Well, in the Bible, it's also like physics. It's sort of coded physics. So you have to make like it's an atonement. A tone is a musical note.
Yes. Yeah.
So make an atonement to God, you have to make the sound, the word, or whatever. It's all like coded physics, basically. Especially when they talk about sin and like you're born into original sin. Well, sin is time. Like a sine wave is a measurement of sort of like time. So when they're saying when you're born into sin, it's sort of like you're born into time, and time is the great beast because no one can defeat time. It's coded physics in there.
It's disgraceful, isn't it, what they've done to us?
I know. That's the great beast that they're talking about of Revelations. It's not actually a physical demon or Satan or whatever. It's time. It's a measurement of time because no one can beat time because time kills everything. So like that's why you got like fundamentalist Christians or religious people taking it literally. It's not literal. You got to look for the coded physics inside of the book. That's why it's all numbers and stuff
I
like
know, but
that.
when I looked at that program tonight and saw how they've actually gone into these places, and these people, they can't, if they're not going to say that they're going to adhere to this, like Sharia law, then they are going to be killed. And they're chopping, they're showing you, they're chopping their heads off and stick them on spikes. It's like living in the bloody Middle Ages or something.
Yeah,
Isn't
we're
it?
going back to the
And
times
this,
of the French and all that with the beheadings and all this. But
exactly, it's
honestly, I
just
would
like
take
going
that with a
round and
pinch
round
of
and
salt.
round.
Take it with a pinch of salt. I don't buy anything that I'm presented. I have to analyze it myself. So, it could be, could not be, but
I mean, where are these ISIS getting all the money from? Obviously, we know, but you know what I mean? For God's sake.
where does all the money come from? It's America, isn't it?
Where do
Yeah.
the people think the money's coming from? I mean, look at them, they're all kitted out the same way. They've got the best of the best equipment. Just walking into towns and, taking over and gone over the border. It's unbelievable, isn't it, that it could have happened?
Well, that's
When
that's the thing there. You just said it. Unbelievable. That's it. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Dog shit, isn't it? Like you just said it there.
If you presented like a movie of this, you go out the cinema and you'd think it's fucking crap.
That's it. It's like a bad B movie on repeat.
Like B movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Sis, when you heard that name, you just thought, oh my lord, could they not think of something more cryptic?
I know. I mean, it's just a giveaway if people with intelligence will know what Isis is, the Egyptian goddess. It's like, oh, come on. It's just like, they're sort of like showing you that, look, right, we're sticking to our script because all the Masons worship Isis and all that. So they're just sticking to their script. And of course, Isis is like the female, like the negative female. Like it brings around the negative aspects of the female and all that. So, it's just a big script. And what I think they're actually doing is strategic relocation. They're actually moving things around.
Is it bringing in the negative? Do you know what I mean? Because this is what they're saying about what Aquarius is bringing in. Is bringing in, trying to balance out the feminine. So is Isis? You know what I mean? Or is this another thing that's making us think? This goddess because she's the moon goddess, isn't she as well?
Yeah, yeah.
So is it negative? I don't know.
Well,
it's
presented as negative when they put it on the news. It's always like you associate ISIS with some loonies in the desert running around and chopping heads off.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is ISIS represents many things, but it's all their script. It's all their pantomime.
Yes.
Like it's all their machine that they've created. All these archetypes and deities and all this kind of stuff. It's all their machine. It's all their show.
Gods, yeah.
Yeah. Like it's the same old thing on repeat. So that's why when I look at it, I just go, nah, not buying it. Simple as that.
Exactly.
And you feel a lot better for it.
What do you think about this, beheading thing?
I've went through it, and even the friggin' knife looks plastic. For God's sake.
Well, you know what got me was the parents.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
When I saw that, because I didn't watch the beheading right at first, because I have watched it now, but I didn't watch it because I thought I don't want to watch it, right? And then I thought I'll click on and listen to these parents, and all I could see, seriously, was like Sandy Hook actors.
Yeah, totally. It's incredible, isn't it? How they get away. Like you wouldn't. The first thing you do is like, I'm not going to do a television interview. My son has just been beheaded.
Absolutely off your face with grief.
Yeah, you'd be pissed as a fart going, I'm just going to drink a bottle of whiskey or whatever and not even try and focus on it. And the first thing they do is like...
the White House and kill the bloody president if it was my son.
Exactly. The whole thing is just absolutely scripted again. And
I tell you something, at the end of it, John, I don't know if you listened to it all, but it was the long interview. At the end of it, it's a total propaganda speech. For the government.
Well then,
seriously, you should listen to it.
Well, the parents, what they'll do is they'll try and say, "Oh, something must be done. We have to get rid of your freedom or whatever." Or there'll be, there'll be the government machine behind what their words are, because they're just actors. They're always just going to be actors.
A mother and father could come out after. I mean, it's not just. Come on, it's not just any sort of death that's like an accident, you know what I mean? And it's splashed all over the world on the telly. And you'd be absolutely distraught, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, that's why it stinks, because just the simple fact that they're like